All right, welcome to another episode of Talking Metaverse. I'm here today with Kelvin Cheng and Immersal's very own Matthias Koski. How's it going, guys?
Yeah,
Great
very
to
well.
see you.
Great to be here.
Matthias, why are we interested in Kelvin and Rakuten's point of view?
Yeah, like they have very fascinating experiences in Japan, especially Rakuten and the stadium experience. And most of my partners or clients have been very impressed about that. So maybe Kelvin can explain about the background of that and what has been the feedback from the customers, that how they feel about these new kind of experiences.
Yeah. So this was done sometime last year, at the end of last year. So, the idea there was to, create a very novel sports watching experience to, increase fan engagement at the stadium. And so we wanted to provide an immersive and interactive AR experience that made use of 5G. And so we wanted to kind of, we have this idea of, how do we give users kind of a futuristic experience, right? Aiming towards the future, when we will have smart glasses and using AR and so on. And so, yeah, we have AR content all around the stadium. We have AR content kind of hovering in the middle on top of the stadium as well. Using Immersal's technology, we managed to create a point cloud of the stadium using around 200 images. And so with this point cloud, then we are able to use visual positioning to accurately place AR content around the stadium very accurately. And then we can think about, what kind of experience, right, we can place. So for example, we can, put AR advertising just underneath the roof, for example, because, the stadium has this two giant roofs, right? The main stand and the back stand. And it's a giant empty space that is not being used for anything. And, we thought, oh, maybe we can, create some interesting visualization there. So that space, we used AR to create a giant canvas, basically. And yeah, we can display any type of contents like advertising, like, celebration effects and so on. And so, yeah, so that we're kind of exploring, where we could place AR displays that cannot be placed in the real world. So that's an example of that. Also, what we did was we allowed users to select the players on the field directly through AR. We got some real-time player tracking data coming from an external source from the cloud. And we got the accurate positions information of where each player is on the field. And so combining with AR, because with VPS, every person, every user can have really accurate positions, right? So the system knows exactly where this user is and what they're seeing. And so, together with the player tracking information, we can let users click directly on the mobile phone on the player themselves, right? So, and then we can show, who is this player? If it's a beginner fan, what's their name, their number, but also like real-time statistics, right? Like, their speed or their scores. For example, pass rate, distance that they were running throughout the game and so on. And but more importantly, what users can do is they can then, for hardcore fans, if they want to purchase the jerseys, that particular player's jerseys directly, they can do that from within the app. So so we did that, and that was a very exciting new experience for the users. And all of this, of course, can't be done without 5G, because we are using high bandwidth and low latency features, right, of 5G. And so this allowed us to produce these kind of new experiences. And a lot of mobile operators focus on the stadium because the stadium is a very unique place where many users will be there at the same time. And so this can showcase the ability for multiple users, multiple connections, right, of 5G. So that's, I think, that's why many operators are very keen in showcasing new experiences there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because we forget that everybody's waiting for the glasses and the wearables, and we don't want to encourage people to walk around with the phones, and it's not a nice experience. However, in the stadiums, that's one place the phone is almost an advantage over the glasses, because you're sitting there. It's much nicer experience to look through your phone and see all the statistics and all the data, like you said. So as a sports fan, I completely understand. So we wanted to ask, what was the feedback? What were people's responses to that test experience?
Yeah, I think overall it's very positive, right? So our users were very happy. So we had both smartphones and smart glasses versions as well. And almost all of them gave us feedback that smart glasses is the way to go. They really want that to be the future. And, because that means they don't have to hold the mobile phone throughout the game. They can very naturally turn their head, to where the actions is. And, the content can be, shown right there and then. And it's just less tiring, right, for the users. So in that respect, for sure, smart glasses is the future, and we're just waiting for the hardware to catch up. For sure.
What is your estimation how long it takes that everyone is wearing smart glasses in the stadium?
That's a very difficult question. That's it's nobody knows, right? Like it could be maybe 5 years, maybe depends on the hardware situation, I guess. And cost has to come down, but also things like battery life, or things like the style, whether people are happy to wear it every day, because it is what I think, it's not just a location specific experience, right? Smart glasses is for everyday use, and what I'm also thinking is that it's gonna replace our smartphone. So it's like asking, when is the smart glass going to replace a smartphone, right? So I think it's gonna take time for hardware, but also in terms of experience, we have to have a lot of applications and new experiences to be able to develop in the smart glasses to replace what we have in the phone. Yeah, probably maybe a long way to go.
All right, this is a good point for me to ask you a question that we ask all our guests. is it possible to define the metaverse in one sentence? What is your opinion on that?
I think, yeah, maybe it's very difficult to define in one sentence. I think there is a lot of aspects to it. Yeah, a lot of aspects are still to be defined, but for me, I think it's kind of like a communication and visualization platform, right? Maybe, you know, a lot of people say it's the next internet, right? So yeah, for sure, you know, it is, you know, allowing us to communicate and visualize much better. And also what I think is that right these days, you know, a lot of people are thinking that it's gonna be just virtual worlds, right? Like it allows us to connect to virtual worlds. But apart from that, so these virtual worlds are, you know, they are completely different to the physical world. And so that's why we're very excited, right? We can create completely imaginary locations, which is very exciting, right? But on the other hand, I think metaverse also allows us to connect to a real world location, a remote location as well. And I think that is very important in metaverse, right? It allows us to you know, remotely connect to an actual location and be there with that other person and see them, what they're doing, their environment, and we can communicate and you know, transact, do e-commerce or whatever services that we have. So I think, yeah, that is one important aspect of metaverse.
Hmm. Well, I guess I would like to then ask, because you used a couple of keywords there. You said communication and visualizing tool, and you said connecting. So let me ask, and I'd like to ask both of you actually, do you think there's going to be, even though we're building the tools for communication and for connecting, do you think there's an opportunity to use the tools for connecting less, for isolating?
Yeah, I think it might create some kind of bubbles that you will only stay in that certain bubble, and then kind of like you can't see outside of that because it's so easy to connect with people who are in the same bubble.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think, you know, when you connect to a virtual world, I mean, even if you connect to a real world, you know, we can be represented in whatever way we want, right? We can be represented digitally as an actual hologram, for example, you know, that looks exactly like me, or I could be represented as you know, an avatar of various shape and size. You know, I could be represented as you know, a small kid or something, right? Like, so then, you know, that could decouple, you know, my representation and myself. And so then, you know, maybe through that, then we are kind of connecting less, right? In that sense. Yeah, so you know, through metaverse, we can you know, change in any way we want, I think.
Yeah, I think those are two excellent points, two very different points. What Matthias said, I completely, we spoke about it with Leslie actually, which is we can choose exactly the type of people we want. So I only want to hang with the people that like to do this. So then I find myself in my bubble and I don't meet anyone else who doesn't have my interests. And then Kelvin's point is I can represent myself as something completely different to how I really am. So then, yeah, there's a big distance between who I am on the metaverse and who I am in the real world.
Exactly.
So a couple of the pitfalls to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like the whole metaverse is still kind of like moving target. It's not really well defined yet. But I think it will be done in next few years.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Matthias, do you have something else for Kelvin?
Yeah, I was thinking like how big thing this metaverse topic is in Japan, and especially like in your industry, Kelvin. That is everyone talking about it, or is it kind of like overhyped theme?
Or underhyped?
Yes.
I think the situation in Japan is quite similar to other parts of the world. It's no different. I think at this moment it's definitely a little bit overhyped. Everyone is talking about cryptocurrency, Web3, NFTs, DAOs. Yeah, it's definitely on the top of the mind of all tech companies, not just mobile operators. And definitely, there's a lot of experiences. Different companies are trying different things. So one example is this virtual Shibuya. I think virtual Shibuya is one of the early examples where of metaverse, where a lot of people gather in the virtual world, in a virtual Shibuya that represent the actual location, right? And then people can gather and for a concert or for whatever promotion, and yeah, whatever experiences that we can have. And yeah, I think even before the term metaverse became popular, I think there were other virtual worlds that has been quite successful. I forgot the name. I think it's called Cluster. Is kind of like a service which allows you to kind of like virtual conferences, but also allows you to create your own virtual worlds as you wish. Yeah, so that has been happening even before metaverse, the term metaverse become popular. Yeah, and now I think not just VR, but also AR is also becoming very hot at the moment. Various experiences are being done around Japan. Yeah, I think different people are trying different things.
And how easily consumers will download this kind of new application? At least like in Finland, I would say people hesitate to download new application if they use it only like once or twice.
Exactly right. That is also the case here as well. There is a lot of apps for everything. There is an app for different AR experiences. Also, like a Team Lab is a very popular interactive art museum in Japan, and yeah, so and also they also have their own app as well for you to experience within the museum. But does that mean then you need a different app for different location or different shop or different museum, right? Like So yeah, it's the same for not just AR app, but also in general as well, I think.
So is that what you see for the near future? For this to become more widely adopted, we need a more unified platform or world where I just open it up and then I can already see all the content I need to see in one place. Is that possible in the near future?
Definitely, I think that is what we all aim to do, right? To have the right information at the right time, at the right place, right? And yeah, I think is it possible in the near future? Maybe in a small scale, right? Maybe not everything can be done all at once. I think yeah, in a limited scale, maybe we can. For example, within a shopping mall, we can do that. For that giant space, I think it will take time. Yeah. How
Like that's why I kind of love these stadium experiences or entertainment experience, because then you have these same customers coming the same place like all the time. Not only once, but like, let's say if you're a big fan of FC Barcelona, of course you will watch the games like many times during the season. And then you have the app. So it's kind of like easy to build the experience around that.
Yep, it's a recurring experience that you can keep experiencing over and over again and with new content. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Matthias?
Yeah, I was thinking like, what will be the mobile network operator's role in terms of metaverse going forward? Will they be only the pipelines of data, or will they also contribute somehow?
For sure, I think yeah, pipeline is one, but also for sure I think the experiences is also key. Of course, we are not doing it alone, right? We want to do it together with various technology providers as well. So right now we are thinking about or experimenting with a variety of experiences, right? Not just AR, but also 3D environments or things like motion capture, for example, or holographic experiences. Are we the best, the expert in this field? Probably not. So we do want to collaborate with a variety of technology providers, such as Immersal as well, and maybe not just AR, but also as I said before, like edge computing, maybe also IoT, multi-sensory. This is also very important. Yeah, so basically, yeah, any kinds of technology that can enhance our communication with each other. Yeah, whether it be the actual technology to enabling a particular sense, or whether it be a platform. Yeah, I think there's a big collaboration. Collaboration is a big part of that. And yeah, we won't be doing it just by ourselves for sure.
Okay. Well, before we finish, can I ask then, in the immediate future, is there anything you're working on right now that you're really excited about?
Immediate future. That's a very, very good question.
What are you working on right now?
So we are also exploring other AR experiences as well. maybe we nothing we can talk about at this stage. I think
I had to try and ask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, I think we are that as I said before, edge computing is a very important aspect of 5G, and so yeah, that's one thing we are looking into. Yeah, with a strong focus in the near future.
Excellent. Well, Kelvin, thank you so much for joining us on the Talking Metaverse podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.